Yesterday, 4:30, Gary Bettman got on NHL Network and laid out an entire plan that was basically already released to all of us. There was this bracket that was set up by insiders in the hockey world, and all these other sports were talking about making a comeback. The NBA has been talking for a while now. Would it be in Vegas? Would it be in Orlando? Now we're learning that it will be in Orlando. There's a couple different plans. I don't really like them, to be honest with you. But then the NHL came out of nowhere with this bracket, and it looked like it was going to be absolutely amazing. It was going to be a March Madness style bracket, and it's 24-team tournament, and it was all hearsay. The NHLPA voted on it, and they were like, let's vote on it. And then the NHL was like, let's talk about it. And then Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the NHL, came on like, it looked like it was like maybe 1080p. He was Skyping in from maybe his basement or his bedroom, and he laid out this entire plan about how the NHL is going to be back, and it'll be a 24-team tournament. There'll be 2 hub cities. They are not 100% sure what the hub cities are. Pittsburgh is potentially a hub city, and I would like to let everybody know that if Pittsburgh ends up hosting one of these things or half the bracket or half the conference, I will be in a hazmat suit in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, ready to watch hockey be back. Now, this is a tournament that I think the NBA should do as well. This is the exact layout that the NBA should do as well. The NBA is talking about having the rest of the regular season and then maybe a World Cup type drawing where there's tiers and then you play a round robin style to get in there. It's like, hey, let's just get right to it like what the NHL is doing here. Top 4 seeds, they'll play a round robin to see who's 1, who's 2, who's 3, who's 4. Then there's the play-in rounds, which will be best of 5, and then there'll be a best of 7 in the next round. This is something that I think the world will get behind. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Just like March Madness, even if you're not a college basketball fan, whenever you're engulfed by the tournament and there's games every single night, maybe even during the day, you can't help but get wrapped up in it. I think the NHL is doing this right, and I think the boys are going to be pumped up about potentially being the COVID Cup champions. Let's assume the Pittsburgh Penguins win because Pittsburgh is hockey town, but in this particular format, this layout, just like the NHL playoffs, which are must-see television every single year, if a team gets hot, it does not matter where you're seated. If your goalie starts standing on his damn head and the other team can't get through and there's no sign of Swiss cheese back there, sticky mitts, dangles, top ched, don't matter. You can win it all. But I think this is going to be electric. And Ty, you just got off the ice down there for your morning skate. How do you feel about this whole thing?
Pretty good. Main concern, obviously, is I had quite a bit of cement in my skates out there. So you got to wonder how many of the guys have been, working throughout quarantine and everything. But it's great to have puck back.
I was going to go right to you there, and I heard you breathing.
Yeah, a lot more gas than I expected to be quite honest with you.
Fitness levels are a real thing, though, because hockey is a grueling sport when it comes cardiovascular, when it comes to your body. You ever look at those dudes' legs? They're massive. They do minute-long sprints on the ice. I can't even skate, so I couldn't even fathom how tough it is. But people talk about the cardiovascular training of NHL players. Now, I assume there's going to be some sort of training camp, and the guys won't be in mid-season form, but that is something I would assume that the NHL has to be worried about is like, hey, are our stars still prepared? Have they been able to stay, in shape throughout this entire quarantine without access to certain things? And will this tournament live up to the standards of what the NHL level of play is? And I think everybody has come out and said, hey, we're pumped up about this. We're ready to go. Is that accurate, Nick?
Yeah, and like you said, that's the easy part. They nailed the format, all right? And they got out in front of it, and it looks good.
Brilliant,
paper,
by
right?
the way. The NHL is not known for doing things right. The NHL is actually the opposite of that. They're terrible PR. They're terrible at marketing. Their sport is one that is electric, but nobody has a clue that it exists unless you have an NHL team that's worth a damn in your city. But the NHL playoffs are something that captivate a lot of people. They got the format right, I think. And the fact that anybody's thinking about doing anything else differently, the NBA, Mark Cuban conveniently lays out his entire 400-page plan a week after coming on our show. But I respect Mark Cuban's big brain. I like what the NBA has done. I think they make a lot of good decisions. They just need to do this. Just do this down in Orlando. Just have them play. You already heard Damian Lillard say, hey, I'm not going to do this. If our team has no chance, I'm not going to finish regular season and waste reps and potentially hurt myself. It's just, there's no reason to do that. And by the way, Damian Lillard, I agree with you. And the only reason why the NBA wants to potentially have the Damian and the John Morant and the Zion Williamson and the Luke is because there's a lot of superstars there. Well, then open up the tournament. Let them all in. Then let them all in. Give the higher seed ones an advantage. Let them all in there. Just do whatever you got to do. But this, I think, is the right move. 24 of 30 NHL teams are in there. Let's go ahead and make this happen, and let's get some electricity on the ice.
Now comes the hard part. You take the next 3 or 4 weeks and you go along with the proposed plan of phase 2 that they put out, where you can have informal workouts, only 6 guys on the ice at a time. Got to get through that. See how that goes.
Ty was just doing that.
Yeah, and you saw how gassed he was. So these guys, as much as you can keep in shape by yourself, they haven't been permitted to work out or skate together. So they're going to be tired. Now, how long is training camp? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 30 days? They don't know. They got to figure that out. There are tons of other semantics that come into play. Like you said, the hub cities. Where are they going to play this at?
Play in Pittsburgh, please, God. I don't know if we have enough hotels in Pittsburgh. You think?
Oh yeah, they have the hotels.
I am somebody that used to vacation in Pittsburgh. There's probably one good hotel in Pittsburgh, maybe 2 good hotels in Pittsburgh that are near
a lot downtown now.
Really?
The issue with
how come
Pittsburgh,
nobody told me this whenever I was traveling? I was staying in like Days Inns in the middle of the South Side. I was in hellholes every day, like literal hellholes in Pittsburgh.
I don't know. I wasn't asked.
Nick, this is Frank's fault. Hey, come stay in this hellhole that's a block and a half
yeah,
away
but it was
from.
close to where all the bars.
True.
The issue with hosting in Pittsburgh is the practice facility is about 20 or 30 minutes away from downtown Pittsburgh. That's something they're going to look at. They want everything as close and compact as possible.
And Pittsburgh is not a convenient city to travel around. No. Literally, it's not a convenient. There's rivers popping up everywhere. There's mountains everywhere. There's hills everywhere. There's tiny little roads. We got caught up on a goat trail whenever we were almost there, and I lived in the city for 18 years. I mean, Pittsburgh is not a convenient city. So whenever Pittsburgh was up here, I was like, let's go. Pittsburgh never gets to host things like this because of how tough it is to get around. But Pittsburgh is a hockey town, and they will shut down things for people to get going. And I assume that's what the NHL is looking for. Is like, what city can commit to us? Facilities, not only just ice, but we're talking about gyms, workout places, meeting facilities, everything like that. That's what they're going to look for. For me, I think the NHL is getting this right. And this is a good idea, by the way, to try to be the first real team sport to get back into this thing, because that's going to be a big advantage. Because the AFL is coming on June 10th.
Yeah.
Aussie Rules Football is coming on June 11th. The first people back know that the ratings are going to be massive. Know that they have a chance to potentially gain a lot of fans that they hadn't had before. They know they have a lot of exposure for their sport. And I'm not saying this is a smart strategy for people to try to exploit a pandemic that shut down sports, but the first couple sports back, the first games back, they are going to be must watch. If the NHL can make this happen, I'm pumped up for it, man. So sorry to interrupt. If you're a man watching this, you deserve to have long, great. And you can do that now with our friends at Roman. Right now, you go to GetRoman.com. You get $10 off and free 2-day shipping on Roman swipes, which are guaranteed to make you have longer, more fulfilling every time you get in the sack. Now, let's get back to the fornicating action. Because the NHL is back. Ladies and gentlemen, Canadian Ty Schmidt.
Here we go, boys.
Go! Let's go! Let a boy die! Yeah! Skates on ice, sticks on puck, fans on fans. No, not going to be fans on fans. I was getting a little bit too excited there. So the NHL
into the boards.
He missed it. Foxy missed it. Foxy missed it completely. Mitch just got cross-checked by Canadian Ty. And Foxy completely missed it. Mitch just took a stick to the chest there. Hey, great skate.
Good skate, Ty. Hey, good skate. Hey, great
skate,
shot.
Ty.
Good goal.
Ty, Nick, definitely excited about hockey being back. The host of That's Hockey Talk. Going to have another episode.
Line change.
Hockey's back! Yeah!
Shattered his hip.
Long term IR.
Let me just roll back to my corner.
Busting the tailbone.
Hey, pal. The question.
But tell boom boys.